We in there.
All right. Welcome. Podcast number 3. Brandon again.
I'm excited, man.
Me too. It's a great shirt.
You like this shirt?
The boss shirt, man.
So look, I got this shirt in North Carolina with my friend John. I had just lost all that weight. So this is like April of last year. And I didn't wear shirts like this because I looked like a pregnant dolphin, dude. Like I just like that's the thing. It just wasn't working. It didn't have the effect that it needed to have. And so one of the first places I went to was Hugo Boss because I always liked the way they. By the way, do you see these things, man? Listen, don't outdo me. Don't outdo me. Don't outdo me.
I've just been on. My doctor prescribed me Anivar, so I've been doing Anivar for almost 20-something days now. Pure muscle. Anivar, if you do the research on it, it's the lowest grade. I mean, it's medically graded. My hormone doctor, she prescribes it. But man, it just makes you feel amazing. It's actually originally for burn victims. If you knew this.
No.
So what it does is it basically from a cellular level internally heals cells. And so while you're working out, you're ripping these muscles, you're creating fractions in them. And what happens is it'll come in and attack and just start rebuilding them. So your recovery is so fast after your workouts. What it does is the fluid as well as the tear, as it heals back, it's already in the state of fusing back together. And so it's just going to be a little bigger each time.
So it's kind of amplifying what it would, because the muscles are tearing every time you're doing this.
Yes.
Then they're rebuilding, throughout the day or as you sleep, whatever. So it just amplifies what the normal process then.
Yeah. So it increases the pump. So after a workout, you're pumped. You pulled in a lot of fluid, a lot of blood. Everything's rushing there. And so as it heals back quicker and just builds that muscle just a little bit bigger each time. And then internally, you just feel a sense of euphoria where you almost feel like your skin's like tingling, like in a good way, not like similar to a beta alanine that would do it in a pre-workout. So it's sending red blood cells. It's really just bringing the blood to the surface, things like that. This is doing the same thing. It's bringing the blood to the surface to heal the scars or the actual effect of a burn victim. That's the original. So overall, it's one of the safest, have no side effects, sleep well, but just feel like you're just almost more on a champion level.
Okay.
Right? So there's a lot of research. You can go look. You can take too much or too little. It may not have an effect. I split my 50 milligrams twice a day. I do a pre-workout and a post-workout. And man, I put like 12 pounds on in 20 days of muscle.
Come on.
Everything's increased. The workouts, the weights have increased dramatically, but I feel more cut as well at the same time. It's kind of a best of both worlds.
Heck yeah.
Obviously, I'm not advocating, nor am I a doctor. I'm not a doctor, not advocating for this, but
what you are is a sexy beast, though.
It's prescribed by my doctor, who feels that it's safe. And for what I wanted it for, I was prescribed it. So prescriptions are the only way to go.
Let me ask you about this blood flow.
Okay.
Does it travel to other places?
Yes. For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Especially so with this, some have what's called a half-life of any drug. So a half-life is the amount of time that it stays in your system before it passes. So this one actually has a short half-life. It only has a 4 to 6 hour half-life, which means it's only in your system 4 to 6 hours.
Okay.
So it's gonna affect quickly, efficiently, but then it's gone.
So I need to call Marie in about 2 or 3 hours after taking that thing
Yeah,
and say, just come on,
definitely.
come on
So
in the room.
during that moment, you're ready to go, but you're ready to go on all aspects. Tackle a
Mhm.
mountain, freaking climb a tree, like whatever. You
Run for
just
president.
run for president. You could win on it, definitely. Um, but every 4 hours you could lose. So we'll see. Um, but overall, I've done these cycles once a year, getting ready for summer. Kind of my go-to. Ones that I've used. I've used all. Let's be real. But this one, no side effects, no sweating, no acne, no nothing that I've seen in other forms.
Sure, sure,
That and testosterone. Been on
sure.
testosterone since I was 30 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
Are you
you,
on T?
you, I'm not on T. But
Okay.
my testosterone levels are, last time I checked them, they're in the 900s.
Okay. I'm at 14 to 16 T.
But you in there, you doing a whole lot of
No, man. Listen.
you moving and grooving, Doc. Look, I take my small victories. Here's the reason why. You don't know this, but I'm about to put myself on blast in front of whoever the dozens of listeners we have. I'm about to
Right.
put my I'm about to put myself on blast. You don't know this. Not many people know this. I in 2000 and shit, last year, no, not last year. In 2022, I got a prescription for Cialis.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I've done
I
that just to see.
but see,
Just
but
to
I had it
see.
because I was fat.
Ah,
I was fat and I was out of shape. And
interesting.
I remember one time I tried to I took a couple of them trying to kind of like get ahead of the
Yeah.
curve. It didn't work. That thing, it's like it was like trying to push a car up a hill with a rope. It was just it just it just
Right. My only impotent moments were when I swapped doctors and she said, okay, we're going to put you on testosterone. This is your level. But we're also going to prescribe you an estrogen blocker. All right. So take half of an estrogen blocker after each injection the next day.
yeah,
Okay. Because what happens is when you take testosterone and it's at a little higher levels, you can create what's called free testosterone.
sure.
Those free testosterone can float around in your body
Like a free radical.
and turn into estrogen. Your level goes up. You feel sluggish. Your nipples are sore. You get a little moody. That if you want to look at the history of people that done any type of steroids, and it's all right. I'm gonna break a myth here. Okay, the steroid is not what make men crazy if they have steroid rage. Okay,
Yeah,
it is when they either stop the steroid or they take too much and they're free testosterone and that steroid turns to estrogen.
mhm,
Once it turns to estrogen, that's when they can't generally if they get a rage, it's an emotional rage.
sure.
And that estrogen is what this are hormones that are just off. It's not it's not the DECA, the D-ball, the whatever they're using. It's the post effect. It's just after whatever it converts into, which is
Sure.
normally estrogen.
Sure.
And when it throws them off, they can do that. Now I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying like this is my research, this is what I've heard, this is what I've experienced a little, like,
Mhm,
oh, I just kind of feel weird. Why my nipples hurt, you
mhm,
know?
mhm.
And you're like, oh, okay, my estrogen is a little
Right,
high.
right,
You get tested and you're like, oh yeah, your estrogen is a little bit high. We need to knock that down. But
right.
after taking testosterone and the estrogen blocker, I became a little impotent, like in the middle of coitus. I would drop out and I'm like, what the hell's happening?
Kinda like a
So I went
cell
to
phone.
the doctor. Yeah, like I lost signal here. Um, go back to the doctor. I'm like, hey, I got a problem here. I don't think it's me, but like something's happening. Then I told her everything. She said, okay, let's check your estrogen levels. She said, oh, interesting. You don't convert free testosterone into estrogen like a normal person would at these levels, 15, 1600 numbers and testosterone. So just stop taking the estrogen blocker. You don't need it.
Mhm.
But if you feel like you get some sensitivity or anything, just take a quarter. So maybe once a month, or once every 2 months, I'll take a quarter because I'll be like, I kind of feel, and I can feel it, and I'll take that, and it's gone. But
Mhm.
that's just
Mhm.
kind of a byproduct, right?
Yeah.
As well, my heart, like I get thicker blood because of my testosterone level. I have a lot of red blood cell counts.
Gotcha.
So they're
Gotcha.
they're double and sometimes triple. So I need to go give blood regularly every 3 months to take my red blood cell count. The last time I went was about 2 weeks ago, and they took 2 pints of red blood cell.
That's a lot of blood.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
So
lot of
two
blood.
pints of red blood cells, and then the next time I was getting a shot or something, I kind of bled a little. They're like, "Are you a bleeder?" I'm like, "Well, I did just give 2 pints of red blood cell, which is the coagulation aspect of your blood, where
Right.
it stops bleeding." So usually I would like take a shot and not even bleed anything because it would just coagulate so quickly. And I hope I'm not butchering that word, but yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Man, so again, it's just so funny to think that like dude, you're sexy beast, man. Like, but people don't know how much maintenance goes in to what you do. And I bet you would even say for your own self, oh, I don't do a ton. I just do
Oh, I
enough.
do a ton.
Or, okay, okay, okay.
I mean, a skincare regimen. Like I follow
I've heard about your skincare regimen.
Jess's. I follow Jess's skincare regimen.
That's
I
not a
do
bad
Botox.
one to follow.
I do Botox. I do filler. I just got filler last week.
Come on.
I got it in the cheek here a little bit just to kind of bring it out a little. And then I got some more in the chin. I'm going to show you, I'll pop it up on this video on this podcast,
Yeah.
but the before and after of my chin extension over the last 2 years, it'll blow your mind, dude.
Your chin
I was
extension.
shocked. I never liked my chin.
Okay.
I always thought like it was recessed.
Okay.
As you do research, you're like Brad Pitt's face, the movie star face. Like what is the similarities that make them attractive? What do people like? They'll do a side view of them. They'll do face on, all these little ins and outs. And the biggest thing is the chin extends past the lip
Okay.
and
Brad
not
Pitt's
the other way.
chin extends past the lip.
Say again?
Brad Pitt's lip.
Yes, his
Okay.
chin. Well, I mean, it's just aesthetically on a man, the chin should be further out than the lips are. Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So if you want that masculine bottom, and my dad didn't have it. I didn't have it. I didn't do filler until after I got a divorce, and I was like, I think I need to do it. I feel like I need this. I don't like my side profile. And then I meet Jess, and the crazy thing is, I got a beautiful girl, right?
Right.
Beautiful.
Right.
Loved me and loved the way I look. Always thought I was so handsome. But she's seen the comparison. She's like night and day. She's like, wow, such a difference. Because I can see it. She can see it. I think it just makes me that much more, right?
Hmm.
I can't be more than 100% attracted to you, but it just adds, you know, just like, I mean, everybody does everything, you know, she does things, I do things. It doesn't
It's
negate
just
how
maintenance.
you feel or what you look like per se, like to the other person, but it just enhances your own features that you feel like you need. So for
Right.
men, I think there's a stigma for men that I if someone asks me, I tell them all the things I've done. I mean, I don't care. I got hair put in. Did you know that?
I did. I did not know that you got hair put in. No.
All right. So this is a military story.
Okay.
I came back from Afghanistan and I noticed right here, just on this one side, I was losing hair. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, am I going to go bald? My dad was bald. I got 4 brothers, or 3 brothers. All of them are bald.
It's not looking
I'm
good.
I'm gone. But now my oldest brother who passed away, he passed away at 39. And so he still had hair. And I was like, I have his hair. That's why I still have hair. But just year after year, it just kept receding a little bit more on that one side and not this side. So, yeah, I got an evaluation and they were like, you need about 800 units, which are 800 individual hairs. And they'll go in the back of your head. It's my hair. It's just moved from the DHT. The DHT is a compound molecule, we'll call it whatever, in you that will actually kill the roots of hair. So the top of your head is generally where the issues are. Side, they're immune to it. They don't affect it. I don't know why. Man, it's a crazy look. Thanks God. Appreciate you. But they went in the back and they went 800 individual hairs, plucked them out, finding your hair follicle comes in 1, 2, 3, and 4. So a root can have 1 hair, 2 hair, 3, or 4 hairs. Okay, it's kind of max 4. So they pluck all of them, and then they divide them out, and then they position them 4, 3, 2, 1 back to front, so that you have the best natural look. I went on a Thursday. By Monday, the little blood scabs, because all they do is poke a hole with a needle. And they just set the hair in. And when it gets root, you're done. It'll fall out and then it'll grow back. So it's been 1 year this week.
Come on.
1 year. That's about the growth process. It takes a year. It takes a year to see the full result. And I'm so happy with the results. Because it just evened out my hairline because I was off balance. And when I went to the doctor, he said, this is stress induced. He said, what have you done in your life? I was in the Marines, infantry. He's like, see this a lot. A lot of infantry guys, stress induced, loss of hair in one particular area, not others. So from that standpoint, it was just fixing something that shouldn't have been. Just like a nose job or anything else for me. Not ashamed.
Well, listen, you ought not be ashamed. I think that the only thing that I've ever really done that would be classified as like real maintenance, aside from like getting haircuts and stuff like that. Once upon a time when I was in the Pentecostal church, which again, not to get on church again, but I went and got laser hair removal off of my face because we were going to go to hell for having facial hair. So instead of cutting it all the time, this is like in 2010, I went and got laser hair. So it started working. I went to like 3 or 4 sessions, and then I was like, one day I might not be a Pentecostal, and I might want to look like a man again. So I stopped, but I did go, and I think that qualifies as some maintenance type stuff right there. Pedicures, wrong thing. Manicures, pedicures.
I do those.
Well, you know what? There's nothing worse than seeing a grown man with crusty ass feet. I mean, that's just it's not. You don't need like OnlyFans can sell feet pic type feet, but I mean, you don't need to look like you've been kicking flour and beating against bricks all day.
But why do we as a society determine body parts are different? So muscles are okay to enhance for a man, but cutting your fingernails and your feet are not okay to do?
Right.
You, so if one is vain, right? We'll call it vain. Being vain by going and getting your nails done or your hair done or whatever, hair cut, beard trimmed, that's considered vain or feminine. But
Right.
building your muscles so you look good is not.
Yeah, it's extremely vain. It's no
But a
different
hundred
than
years ago, men were wearing high heels in France. Like heels were men's shoes, and now they're women's shoes.
right. Well, so were dresses to some extent. They
Yeah,
weren't called dresses, but yeah, no, I've never understood that. Why people would make such a big deal about it. And for me growing up, I was in sports, but I was always interested in music. And music always had a stigma to it as it pertained to men, especially in church, because a lot of musical men were effeminate, you know.
yeah,
And so I didn't have like I wasn't super masculine. I wasn't like "Rawr" all the time, but I also wasn't feminine either. So I was kind of in
right,
like that middle spot because I like things to be clean. I want to smell good. I want to
exactly.
take a
Yes,
shower. I don't want to be dirty or anything like that. And I just, I find I'm with you. I find it funny that we get so criticized for wanting to do better and to look better aesthetically and go through. Listen,
yeah.
we only have one life, as far as I know. We might come back to be a butterfly. I don't know. We only have one life, and
What is-
it's no different. It's no different than if you had a Lamborghini or it. I've seen you take care of your cars. Jessica's car was like 15 years old. It was half my age, right?
yeah,
And but you took care of that car. You washed that car. You did the same thing with
yeah,
the car that you currently have. It's like why we put maintenance and upgrades and things in our house, on our cars, and I mean even on our lawnmowers and on our phones. But when it comes to our
yes,
bodies, for some reason, especially as men, it's a
yeah.
bad thing or you're gay, which by the way, I tell people all the time, you calling me gay is not an insult. Let me get that straight because
Listen,
I don't think
you're only gay if you like it. Because you can get fucked in this life. If you like it, then we might be like, hey, you might want to think about your choices, what
listen,
you want out of life. That's okay.
there's nothing
Hey,
wrong.
as Seinfeld would say.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Insult. I remember I had someone one time, dude. I've got good friends that are gay. I've always had good friends that are gay. Even in church, I've just always had good friends that are gay. Gay people are
Yeah.
fun. Number
Me
one.
too. You're my best friend, Brandon.
Yeah. LGBT. Don't just you know gay people or LGBTQ, whatever they could call themselves. I just don't think that's a bad thing. And I remember one time my mom had got a hold of me. She called me. She said, "Hey, somebody told me that you've been hanging out with such and such." And
Mm,
I just they were questioning your sexuality, and I just don't want people questioning your sexuality because of who you're associated with. And I told her, I said, if I stop associating with my friend because they're gay and I'm afraid of what my affiliation with them is going to bring to me as far as like recourse or criticism or whatever, then I don't need to be friends with that person. Like that's my friend.
yeah,
And I don't,
exactly.
yeah, I don't care if Betty, who's 58 years old, who hates herself and all of that stuff is I don't care. It just doesn't matter. And so,
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter. I need to
You
upgrade
get
this
the
real
same
quick.
message.
Yeah, I got the same message. I'm about to do it right now. I'm about to do it right now.
I'm a Venmo.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I agree, man. It's people are afraid of what they don't understand
Sure.
because you don't fit in the same box as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's fine. People but people think their opinion matters when it only matters to them. That's why it's called an opinion. It's your view.
Hello.
Your view should not matter to everyone. And if it does, then we got a bigger problem.
Right.
But your view should matter to you and reflect what you think. That's why it's called your opinion. Period.
You have ownership of that. Nobody else has ownership of it.
Nobody else. You got one channel, one subscriber, maybe two. It could be other people that they agree with you, but that's then their opinion, right? Yeah, it's crazy. I was trying to think. I don't have one gay person in my family.
Not one.
Not one.
Dude, I've had some.
Not one.
I've had some.
Not none of my immediate family, unless I'm the one and I don't know it. Um,
Wouldn't you be surprised if, like, word on the street behind your back, like the story was, I think Joel's gay? Wouldn't that be
well,
crazy?
what's funny is gay men like me.
Gay men love me too. But you know
Gay
why?
men
I'm
love
gonna
me.
tell you why.
They
I'm gonna
love
tell you
me.
why. Tell you why. Number one, you're a stud. Number one. Number two, you're a man's man. You handle business, you take care of business. Number three, you're kind to them.
Yeah.
That's probably the main reason why, aside from the fact that you're physically attractive to them, not attracted to them, attractive to them,
Yeah.
that you're very kind to them. I've had gay guys who have mistaken my kindness for attraction for them.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and because I'm telling you, I have had them go back to friends and say, "Hey, do you think Brandon would be interested in going on a date with me or something like?" He was really into me tonight, and my friends would have to tell them, "He's just nice." Like that's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's the like no slam, but he's just nice. He's not
Just
he's
nice.
not interested. And let me tell you something. I love the LGBTQ community. I will march for them. I will, picket for them. I will vote on their behalf. But I personally just cannot play swords with another man. I just can't. I just don't have it in me.
All right. I get it.
I,
Me too.
if I wanted to, I'm sure I have ample opportunity to explore that. But God, the universe, whoever did such a good job with women, in my
Oh,
opinion.
I know.
It's like
Oh, I know.
there's
Hey,
nothing that old bearded man to do for
the
me.
other night, the other night, I get out of the shower and I trimmed everything and all the stuff, and I give myself my testosterone injection, and I look at my saggy butt, and I'm like, that's not cute. And I turn around, I see my girl, and I'm like, women are just so much prettier than us, just in all aspects.
100%.
They're just made for beauty,
They are made for beauty.
and they're just made for that.
Even the Bible says they're made for beauty. Like
Yeah,
they're so much better than us in so many different
skin
ways. They're
soft.
smarter than us. They're more caring than us. They're prettier than us. They're just better.
I know. We're just grunts that are pushing for. We're the. If you want to define it, okay. So in the Marine Corps, we had this saying: we're the spear tip. Okay, create the hole. We push forward. We create problems in a sense of like chaos. We knock out the enemy in a brute force way, and then as that arrow keeps going through the army, everything comes in after us to secure it. So we're the spear tip. Men are like that in general. We're the spear tip of society. You need a hole dug. A man's going to dig the hole.
Get it done.
Building built.
Get it done.
99.5% of them are men that build them. The plumbers, the electricians. The necessity. It does bother me when you have a segment of ladies that are like, we don't need men. Yeah, we need men and women. Period. It's a combination. This world doesn't survive without both because we can't procreate. Let's stop there because that's the end.
Right.
We don't survive as a human race unless we have both.
So to your point, do you believe in gender roles within a relationship?
No, because I tend to. I'll be honest. My ex-wife would tell me that I held a lot of the opposite gender roles. I I'm a talker, so I want to talk through problems. I want to bring up the things that bother me. I don't have problems with sharing my emotions. I want to work through it. Housework, I don't mind it. I I get, but I would say the housework is my love language, which is servitude. So
Sure.
in combination, servitude is like I want to make my person feel loved and protected and comfortable in our space together.
Hmm.
So endo facto, I don't mind. I enjoy because I'm showing love
Yeah.
to my person. You know,
Yeah.
I'm giving
Yeah.
them that love, and then I get in a therapeutic mindset. I get in the moment doing the dishes. Very therapeutic for me. Uh, seeing because I like a lot of people love a beginning and an end.
About to say
And if you look
you're
at the
somebody about
dishes,
progress.
you see the end because that's what you have. You already know how many dishes are in there. I don't care. You just kind of assess it. That's going to take me 10 minutes. And now you're working through a 10-minute process.
Hmm.
Put a
Hmm.
podcast on, listen to a show, something during that moment, be in the moment with that show, with the process of doing the dishes. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic. And
Yeah.
I know I'm loving the person.
But that's what I was about to say. You're not. It's not just therapeutic in the sense that you're getting something accomplished, but you're handling something that's going to benefit the people in your house and handling something that most people don't care for. Because I do the dishes in the house too. I'm not afraid. I'm not
Yeah.
ashamed to say it. Marie, I can count on one hand, as long as we've been together, how many times she's done the dishes. Not out of apprehension of her doing it, but
Right.
I don't mind. I know she doesn't like doing it. I don't mind doing it. So,
Yeah.
matter of fact, it makes me feel good to go and do it. So, you know what I don't like to do? Laundry. You know what she doesn't
Mm.
mind doing? The daggone laundry. We've never even discussed it, but we're so comfortable with each other that we just kind of fell into place with the things that we were
Yeah.
going to do, but that she was going to do, and the things that I was going to do. And that's just the way it is. Like, I cook most of our food. It's not that she can't cook. It's not necessarily even that she doesn't want to cook. I'm like, I'm always go, go, go. So I'm like, oh, well, we
Yeah.
got to eat. Let me go ahead and put this together. Is there something that you want? That's about as much
Right.
contribution as she gives. Is there something specific that you're looking for? But I like to cook. Most people, like my grandfather, I've seen my grandfather cook one thing in his life. One time when I was like 8 years old, he cut up some sweet potato fries and put them in the oven. That was the
That's it.
and I've seen him make cornbread because he loves cornbread and milk. Apart from that, I have watched my grandmother more often than not only cook, but give my grandfather the plate. I don't even think my grandfather has ever told my grandmother, this is what I want to eat. My grandmother is so consumed by that role that
Mm.
she does it, and because she loves to do it, she loves to serve, she
Yeah.
always picks things that he likes, even though he doesn't even have to tell her what he
Yeah.
likes. Like, it's just
Yeah.
they just naturally fall into that role. And I think when society tries to go against the grain with everything. Like, I believe there's a natural ebb and flow to life. And whether you're in a same-sex relationship or you're in a heterosexual relationship or whatever, I believe that that the universe will allow you to flow unforced into the positions and the roles that you're
Right.
supposed to be in to make this thing work. That's
Right.
my opinion.
And those roles aren't gender. They're just, and sometimes they are. It's okay to say
Sometimes
that. It's fine.
I'm gonna go
It's okay.
check the door. If there's a noise,
Yes.
Marie's not coming downstairs. I'm going
No,
downstairs.
I'm gonna go check the door. I'm gonna do the maintenance on the vehicle. I'm gonna look at the engine. If it's making a sound,
Yeah,
I'm gonna. I already know this. Like that's just part.
and
But that's
nobody
also
told
my
me that.
background. No one taught me that. I just that's that's who I am. There's a lot of things that Jess does that are on the more of the medical side. The dealing with the kids where it's oh they got a boo boo or they're having this allergy problem or medication. I do not. I don't even know what to take. I was like, my head hurts. What should I take? And like that part of me is not. I haven't consumed enough of that. I know Tylenol and all the things, but I don't know medicine like she knows medicine,
Sure.
and that caretaker aspect of human life and our bodies in that way, right? Facial regimens, skincare, blah blah blah. I don't know that, so I just told her, look, I'll just follow suit with you, and then when we run out, you just buy more. Like, I'm just going to do the same thing you're doing. So let's line them up on the shelf so that I know which one to do first.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And
Right.
there's a limitation though. So I was married for 10 years, right? And when you do, but don't receive. So I had this theory, and it is a visual aid for me. And I think I've expressed this to you, the vessel concept. We are but a vessel, and everything in our life is vessels. Friendships, relationships, work. Our life is a whole vessel, but then you can break that down into many little vessels. And if no matter what you do, you have to pour out as you contribute to that vessel, whether it be another person, work. If we just poured our work vessel into work and never received monetary, we would never do it again.
Yeah.
The monetary is receiving back into that vessel to fill that vessel up. Friendships, if you're just pouring into a friend and they never pour back into you, that friendship is probably going to go on to the rocks. And this is where people get emotional. This is where you see they never call me. They don't care about me. And this is where they get emotional. The other person doesn't even realize a lot of times they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're not being responsive. They're not as engaging. They don't ask questions. They're not pouring into your life. They don't even know it because you have been doing the pouring and they've been feeling good.
Yeah.
This is where self-awareness that they fill my cup and it's overflowing now. Let me pour back into them. And if you don't have a relationship that does that, then all those little roles that you do, you're going to start resenting.
Oh yeah, you'll be sick as hell of it. Yeah.
You'll be like, I do this, and this, and this, and this. You're going to start labeling them out in your head. I take care of this thing. I do this thing. I do,
which is out of your character.
Yes.
To keep score, to make a list and check it twice. That's totally that's out of my character. And you're right. When I start doing that, I know something's off base.
Yeah.
Immediately.
You're not getting filled because now what you're doing is you're unconsciously, what do you call it? Not rationing what you have left.
Sure.
Because you're almost empty.
Yeah.
You haven't been filled back up. Now you get filled you can fill yourself, but it's a little slower trickle. Because to be honest, like there's a lot of things going around like self-love, love yourself. You don't need anyone else. No. You do. You do need other people. We are a communal society.
Absolutely.
We're an animal that lives in a tribe.
Absolutely.
So the solitude of life, you're never going to be fully fulfilled without community. Ever.
One of the first principles in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, you learn, God says, it is not good for man to be alone. That's one of the first principles set out. When Jesus got ready to do anything, what did he do first? He went and got 12 bros to fellowship with, to not just glean from, but to pour into. So much so he tells them, hey, when I leave, you'll be doing some greater stuff because I poured so much into you, but you guys have also poured so much back into me as well. There was a mutual relationship. The only relationship that was not that way was the one that ultimately led Jesus to his death, which was Judas.
Yeah.
Taking, selfish, conceited, and all of those things. And that led to his death. But the rest of them, they continued on to do what they were supposed to do or what they felt like they were called or compelled to do. But that had everything to do with community. When Moses took over, his father-in-law told him, said, hey, go find you some men, some wise men that have good report and good rapport amongst the people, and bring them together and let them help you govern things. Like, it's just not good for us to be alone. And I remember, of course, again, you've known me when I was fat as hell, know me when I'm fine as hell. But I will say that, and we kind of talked about this a little bit last time, but Marie was such a big reason why I made the decision that I did. Subconsciously, her and the level that I put her on, the platform that I put her on, made me want to do better, made me want to be better in so many different ways. And I'm a firm believer that had she not come along, maybe I would have done it later on, but I wouldn't have done it at that time. And I definitely wouldn't have got the results as quick as I did and been so
Right.
dedicated or committed to the cause, because she brought the best out of me. She saw things in me that I couldn't even see in myself. And she wasn't constantly always saying, oh, you're so great, you're so this, you're so that, you're that. But it was just the energy that she gave me. She made me feel like I was more than what I was giving off at that time. And it's so important that like this, the self-love, like I don't know about you. I live with myself all day long. I hear my thoughts all day long. I see my actions all day long. I hear my words all day long. Like I I know how much of a mess that I am. Like, and there's only so much self-love that you can give yourself before it has to be reinforced by somebody that wants nothing but the best for you.
Exactly.
Period. Wants
Exactly.
nothing but the
Yeah.
best for you. Whenever I look at you and Jessica, I what I love about y'all's relationship, and this is not just because I'm your friend, what I love about y'all's relationship is that I can look at the way you look at each other. It's in your eyes. You guys love each other, and you make each other better. There are things that Jessica has ascended to and has accomplished since being with you. Not saying she never had that potential, always had the potential, but you created an environment to where she could be the best version of herself, and
Exactly.
and then in turn, she created an environment to where you can always be the best version of yourself as well. And and
Yeah.
and, I think that you guys are better people individually and together now that now that you both are together. Like, you just bring out the best. And I feel like we're just not meant to get to places on our own. Sure, we're gonna have to put our own effort in and do all that stuff, but we need people. And
I know.
damn sure, I dare to say, I can't picture myself without a spouse.
Right.
I've come to the point in my life to where I feel like I'm not too proud to say I need that person in my corner. Period. That knows my everything. They see me in the morning. They hear me in the bathroom. I mean, like they just know everything about you, and they still fucking choose to love you,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Jess says this, and she said it at least 3 times since we've been together. She said, I'm not the prettiest. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the nicest. I'm not any of these things that are the top of the list, right? Of the top of these categories. But I'm damn good in all of them. And you're not going to find that combination anywhere else, right? And I'm like, you're right. I mean, do I think you're the most beautiful woman? Yes. Does she think that? That's the internal self. No, there's prettier, there's taller, there's this, there's that, there's skinnier, there's whatever.
Sure.
We're our own worst critic.
Mm-hmm.
But I would agree on the other aspects. Like, no one's perfect all the time. But in combination, to be damn good at kind of all the little things, it is crucial. You have to be, and this is what we pinpointed. So tell me if you agree on
Yeah.
your side. We pinpointed the actual personality trait that makes a good couple. All right. So you have let's just say a selfish person is a positive, and a selfless person is a negative. Okay. They'll work. They'll transfer power. You're going to get lights because this selfless person can literally live in this world indefinitely, but live a quiet life of desperation.
Mm.
They're not having a good life. They're fine. The selfish person is fine because they're just living their life and they think everything's great, but they're so selfish that they never feed their other person emotionally in different ways.
Yeah.
Right. But this person is so selfless that they will just live with it the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Two positives, two selfish people won't work. You're going to get an explosion. Try to hook up two positive wires together. It will not work.
Yeah.
If you have two positive going in different directions to meet, it will smoke whatever device you have.
Sure.
Like, it's just not going to work. Two selfish people. When you have two selfless people, man, watch out. This is a dynamic duo that will continue to feed each other and strive to care more about the other.
Yeah.
In self. So being selfless leads to all these other amazing traits that a lot of people don't think about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're two selfless people.
Sure.
And that's why I think overall we are successful. We will continue to be successful in our relationship because we are selfless to each other. I wake up every day. What can I do for you today?
Mm-hmm.
I say this all the time. Is there anything I can do for you? And she'll tell me sometimes, oh, you can do this. I needed to return this. I need to do that. Sometimes it's low hanging fruit. It's not a big deal. Hey, could you like throw the laundry on or hey, I needed to return this little thing. Yeah, of course. I can do that for you. And vice versa. She does that for me too.
Yeah.
And different. So no, it's crucial to have a person in your life that you can trust, to be a confidant in, and to just grow with in all areas, emotionally, physically. And jealousy is not on the table.
Yeah. No, it can't be. It can't be. It can't be. It'll kill you even a little bit. It'll kill it. It'll kill it.
Kill it. No, jealousy in forms that aren't necessarily jealous about another human being. Jealousy in things that you're doing.
Yeah.
If your person does not promote the things you want to do, hey, I want to start a podcast. That's a dumb idea. That's not your person. Hey, I think I want to start going to the gym.
Why would you want to do that?
Why would you want to do that? That's not your person.
Yeah.
Anyone that looks at anything you want to do to better your life and crushes on it, knocks it down, that's a sign. That's a red flag, people. Listen to me. Talking to everyone out there. Red flag. Run. Brandon, we're going to get into a lot of things too. I want to talk about relationship stuff as well. Like deep. And we're going to talk about from a single person's point of view, because I think it's kind of fun. Because I have a lot of training in that area. And then we're going to talk about the relationship side, do's and don'ts as well. So just to get that out to you, we're going to hit that up. I know that my little timer said I have 10% left on my phone. I don't want to die.
We don't want it to die.
We don't want to die. What do we do?
Let's see. We got to find you.
Maybe we go till we die.
We got to find you a charger.
I know, but I got the mic hooked up to it.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Let's do the end of this. Let's do the end of this because I wanted to hit an hour today.
Yeah.
We got 60 minutes left. Let's talk about your journey of carnivore because we did not hit on it last time.
Sure, sure.
I want you to dive into the do's and the don'ts and kind of give maybe some direction to people that are thinking about doing this.
Mhm.
Why should they? And what are the myths that have been busted?
Sure.
But you've
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So, number one, for those of you who don't know my story, last year, January 22nd, so 2023, I went on a carnivore diet after, being overweight, had nodules on my vocal cords, sleep apnea, acid reflux. I struggled with hemorrhoids a few times a year, every year, just all kind of stuff. And I was just miserable, dude. I was tired. One of the worst things that you can be is in the middle. And the reason I say what I mean by in the middle is that I wasn't anybody's, like, I wasn't the most handsome guy, but I damn sure wasn't ugly either. I was just independent. And then there were so many things about me that people like:
you're
my
so handsome.
personality. Thank you, buddy.
Good stuff.
My personality, or the fact that I was, good at music, good at playing, good at singing, whatever. There were things that compensated for me. But in my opinion, my physique and my looks have always been subconsciously in my mind in the middle. And I just got tired of living in the damn middle, especially when you got, sexy ass friends like you who standing next to you. I look like a plum standing next to you
I look
back
better in
then.
person. Let's just be real.
I looked like a plum. And so I just, part of it was for health reasons, and part of it was, I'm just ready to get out of the middle, get out of average. And one of the books that I read is probably back in like 2014 when I first heard about Grant Cardone. And for those who don't know about Grant Cardone, he wrote the book, The 10X Rule, Be Obsessed, Be Average. He's got a huge company. I think he's the biggest private real estate owner, at least in America now. And one of the things that he said in that book was you have to get out of obscurity and stop being average. Okay. And then he goes down this line of, if you're listening on the radio and they're trying to tell you to go see a movie, like, who goes to see this movie? Attention, average movie playing in an average movie theater with average
Yeah.
seats, average popcorn, with average actors and average music. Like, nobody wants to go see that. And so for me, I felt the universe was calling me to up my game in that area. And so, I saw an individual that I used to work with that was actually on the carnivore diet. I saw some of the things that happened for him, but it was months later that I actually started the process for myself. We were leaving Florida, Marie and I were coming back from Orlando, and I was on YouTube, and I got a hold of a video called "Plants Are Trying to Kill You," and it's clickbait. It's absolute clickbait. It wasn't emotional. The guy on there, Dr. Shafee, who I'm hoping to interview on my podcast soon, but the doctor, he's an ex-rugby player, 42 years old, I think, good looking guy. But these doctors, man, they're so boring to listen to, bro. I mean, they're just giving their data, giving their facts and all that stuff. But man, that video really opened up my eyes. I had never heard the information that he was giving ever. It was so contrary to anything I had ever heard. And he wasn't necessarily saying plants are killing you per se. But his whole point is that there's not a carbohydrate that's essential for human life, period. There's not one plant that, if it was extinct today, if we couldn't eat it, we wouldn't be able to survive without it. There's just not one. And
Right.
so that started the process of me changing my mind around the philosophy of food. Because for the first time, I asked myself, okay, I knew that I could eat this. Should I eat this? If I do choose to eat this, this is just a choice based on emotion. I like the way it tastes. It's sweet, it's good, whatever. But this is food. And so one of the first things that in this process is just talking about being a carnivore. I'm not talking about being a vegan or on the Mediterranean diet or anything that anybody else would do. Number one, we must agree that the food industry that is in America and then across the world, it's about as corrupt as it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go get the peanut butter in your cabinet and there's probably 20 ingredients in peanut butter. Like, why do you need 20 ingredients in peanut butter? And
Right.
so I had to learn, number one, in my mind, this is how I split it up. Animals equals food, anything else equals pleasure. Period. That's how I did it. I put it in my mind that every time I eat animal products, this is food. This is what's going to heal me. This is what's going to make me look good. This is what's going to make energize me. This is what's going to keep me healthy. And anytime I get out of that, I am doing out of pleasure, knowing that there could be some adverse impact to it. But I was an addict, Joel. I mean, this starts from I talk to Marie about this all the time, and you can chime in if you jive with what I'm saying. But from a little boy, and I think this goes for a lot of people, I didn't have control over what I ate or the quantity in which I ate it.
I
Uh,
agree.
you know,
Same here.
yeah,
80s
especially,
baby, man.
yeah,
80s and
yeah.
90s baby. You ate
And
everything on the plate.
you ate what was on the plate, and
And
if you
the
didn't,
box industry, when it came to box potatoes, box this, box that, it was fast. 80s and 90s were the rise of product of produced um, foods
mm-hmm,
and stability, right? So
mm-hmm,
you saw an influx in the shelves, which I
mm-hmm,
didn't know. I just was there. All the
right,
cereals, all those things started rising a lot more in the 80s and
right,
90s.
right.
Late 70s, mainly 80s and 90s at the peaks.
Right. And you see it starts after World War II. Because what happens is that they have this influx of pre-made foods, easy to use type of foods, and now the war's over. So now they've
Yeah.
got all of these things, all these companies have all these things on their shelves that they have no way of moving. So if you go back and look, starting after World War II, going into
Interesting.
going into the 50s, you start to see the cake mixes in the boxes. You start to see the TV dinners and whatnot, and all these other
Yeah.
things made from substances that were meant to last, meant to withstand all kind of environments, and meant to be quick and easy. And so, and the government was actually behind this because the government pushed for the sale of all these things because the government didn't have any use for any of this stuff as well
Yeah.
either. Yeah, so it's something cool to go look at. It's something we should
Dang,
talk
I did
about.
not think about it being from the 20s or the 40s,
Yeah,
40s into the 50s,
yeah, and
late
then
40s, early 50s.
from there too, you also see you start to get into the 60s and you see the late 50s and you see a decline in the consumption of red meat and butter and an incline of the consumption of seed oils. So you got,
Yeah.
vegetable oil,
Oof.
canola oil, peanut oil, all those things. And so right now, if you go look at graphs, you can see the correlation between the increase of use of seed oils and
Yeah.
cardiovascular disease, the increase of use in seed oils and cancer or diabetes or even mental issues, that we just kind of take as is right
I've heard a
now.
lot about the seed oils
The seed
for
oils,
sure.
it's a crazy thing and it's a topic in and unto itself. But
Yeah.
growing up, again, if I had food on my plate, it was you're going to eat what I have for you, or you're going to go to bed hungry. Bottom line.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't just, especially with a black mom. My black mama didn't play. I couldn't just go into the pantry and grab chips and grab cookies, and I had to ask permission to get these things most of the time. So watch this. I'm 135 pounds when I'm graduating high school. But up until that point, my mom had control not just over what I ate, but how much I ate. And so here I
Yeah.
found myself for the first time in my life with my own money, able to make my own decisions. And one of the first things I do is I start to go buy whatever I want to eat whenever I feel like eating it. And it seems
Ooh,
like such a mundane
that's
thing.
training
Yeah,
of
yeah,
why and
yeah,
what and why
absolutely.
and how.
It was the beginning. It was the origin story of a carb addict. is what it was. Because now mom couldn't limit me to one bag of chips. I could go get six and it didn't matter
Yeah.
because you're not going to tell
Yeah.
me what to do. That's why so many people, I guarantee you, subconsciously, by the time they turn 20 after graduating 18, a lot of people put on 30, 40 pounds. It's because the access that you have to the food and the restrictions that you had on that food, they're no more. Okay, so I had to come
Right.
to grips with the fact that I was a carb addict and that I absolutely ate too much food in large quantities and just all kinds of crazy stuff. Dude, me and Marie were talking about the other day. The amount of Pop Tarts I ate as a kid should be illegal. Somebody should be put to death for pop
Debbie cake for me. Pop Tarts, Debbie cakes, Swiss rolls,
cereal,
cereal.
bro.
If we took a road trip for more, I mean, at any point, to be honest, and we always had drug vans that we rode in. I'm talking horse mules, murals on the side of a brown tricolor truck van with a faded, blacked out tinted windows. That's the kind of vans we had as a kid. The drug vans, for sure. Been pulled over many times, thinking that there was something else in the van, but a bunch of kids.
Right.
We always had Swiss Debbie cakes and rolls on the dashboard and a switch every time.
Hey,
Those three things: Swiss Debbie cakes, rolls, and a switch. That was constant.
always.
If you're good, you get a you can get a Swiss Debbie.
If you're bad, get a switch.
Let's go back to this one thing. You read the book, and it said plants are killing.
Okay, yeah. So video. So plants are trying to kill you. What's the name of the video?
But I'm gonna. This is the question I have about that. Plants are trying to kill you. I've heard this, that when they pick a plant, a fruit, a vegetable, once they pick it and they break it off the vine, which is the nutrients umbilical to what you're about to eat, it sends the actual fruit or the vegetable into survival mode, which means last longer, stay alive. It uses its nutrients as well as releases a toxin that wards off anything that would want to eat it when it comes to bugs. Worse for small insects and things like that.
Sure.
Not so much for humans, but in consumption, we don't know what it
In
does,
large
right?
quantities over time.
Yes. Is that part of that book? Because that's what I've heard.
So that's part of it.
And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's a fruit that I believe is called the cassowary bird eats. It's the only animal in the world that can eat that specific fruit because it's the only animal that's able to germinate that seed for it to reproduce reproduce itself. What people don't realize is that animals and plants have been in a arms race to survive for millions and millions and millions and millions of years. So what ends up happening is that plants get more toxic, animals build up more defenses. Plants get more toxic, animals build up more defenses. And so when you consume a plant, it's a living organism, as you said. It doesn't want to die. And so what happens is that when you penetrate, let's take, for instance, a potato or an apple. The skin of the apple or the skin of the potato is there for one reason only: to protect the fruit and the seed that's on the inside of that that fruit or that vegetable, whatever it is that you're doing. So when you start to penetrate through that, you're getting past its defense mechanism, and so you're starting to turn things on in that plant, whether it's a fruit, whether it's a vegetable. Those things are being turned on, and those chemicals are being released into your body. And no, you may not die tomorrow. You may not get sick tomorrow, but this is no different than if you smoked a cigarette today for the first time in your life. You're not gonna get lung cancer from smoking that cigarette the first time.
You can have acute issues, which
have
are
acute issues.
Let's say a large amount of fruit. This is it goes with saying, because a lot of people don't know.
No,
Fruit is full of sugar.
it's
So
sugar.
regardless if you think, oh, I can eat all the fruit I want to eat, it's fine. I'm cutting back eating. I'm not eating processed food. You're consuming sugar to no end. All the fruits that are sweet and good to eat are made for a reason. Now, contrary to what you just said, the fruits that are sweet want animals to eat them,
Okay, so stop right there
to
because I don't want you to
consume their seeds and to spread them
right
around.
to your point. The fruit wants something to eat it, but it
Yes,
doesn't mean that it wants a human to eat it. And that's
correct.
one
It
thing that I've
wants
had to
to
learn.
it wants to be shitted out of something to create a new uh, branch of its life expectancy from a seed that was eaten by an animal.
1000%.
Because we don't eat the seeds,
No,
and we're not shitting them out, and we're
no,
not shitting on the ground either.
no.
So we've removed ourselves from the animalistic. If we were still cavemen, I can see how that would be beneficial.
Sure.
Because to be honest, at that point, our life expectancy wasn't that long, and on top of that, we were living in conditions where we were still part of nature. Okay, we're not
Right.
part of nature anymore. We've ascended past nature.
Hmm.
Now we control nature.
Right.
So we have to separate ourselves from that lifestyle.
And to your point, as cavemen and as we begin to evolve, we were hunter gatherers probably up until about 10,000 years ago when the agricultural, phenomenon came and we were able for the first time to grow foods or crops in large quantities in one place and we didn't have to chase food anymore. But what many
Yeah.
people don't realize is that as a hunter gatherer, these people are chasing the food that they're eating, and then in the summertime or in the springtime or in the fall, where some of these plants or fruit are growing in the season in which they're supposed to be growing, when we were living out there in the wild, we ate those fruits and things that grew on the vine. We weren't growing any, but whatever was in the
Right.
tree, whatever was on the vine or whatever was ever in the bush, we ate those things in the season that they grew. Why? Because wintertime was coming and nature knows I need to be fattened up in the
Yeah.
summertime so that when wintertime come and animal fat, protein, cholesterol, when animals are scarce, just like another animal that's hibernating, a bear or whatever, I'm fat for the winter so I can survive the time or the
Yes.
season of scarcity. At no point in time other than the last 50 years can we eat strawberries all year long, eat
Yeah.
apples all year
Yeah.
long, eat grapes we can eat foods from different parts of the world that our ancestors 50 years ago didn't even know existed or had no access to.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, Japan, Korea, China, maybe some places in China, but for sure, Korea. I lived there for 2 years. You don't get strawberries in certain seasons.
Hello.
You don't have potatoes in the store. You
Hello.
don't. They cycle them in and out. You just don't have it
Mm-hmm.
until it's back in season. When it's back in season, people are on it. But
1000%.
a segment of their life, certain part of the year, they can have things that they don't have any
Mm-hmm.
other time, and we don't have that problem in America.
Right.
We don't.
Right. No.
I would say everything you're saying resonates. I guess coming to that conclusion now, I liked what you said. 50 years ago, I'd say up to like 1930s for the majority of the population, we were still in a world where you didn't know if you were going to get a meal that night.
Yes, sir.
There was even in America, a very large portion through the Great Depression, soup lines, eating potatoes. That's all you had. Eating just a piece of bread a day. Like, we were much smaller human beings. We were shorter. We're malnourished. We were not living to the life expectancy that we do now for
Mm-hmm.
a segment of our population. in effect, we've become a fatter population
1000%.
because the abundance that we have.
For as
100%.
for as good as agriculture has been for the advancement of civilization, it's been just as bad when it comes to our health, when it comes to us, moving and being mobile and all of these things. Like you can go back. Well, think about this, Joel. How about this? Anytime you hear about a famine, it never has anything to do with an animal. Famine always has to do with crops failing
Yeah,
the civilization that it's
sure.
supposed to. So when you think about again what we are meant to be eating as human beings for the main source of our energy, the main source of our life force, when you think about just how nature goes, you can go back again, about so you can go look at Neanderthal and then look at the we're what Homo sapiens is what we are. So you can go back
Yeah.
and look at Neanderthal and you can see the difference in their skull structure. You can see the difference in their teeth. And
Oh, yeah.
part of that is because Neanderthals lived mostly on carbohydrates. And then now you see that they are completely pretty much extinct. I mean, unless there's some weird something working around somewhere,
Well,
they're gone.
we took them over.
Hmm.
The
We
theory
overtook
is
them.
that we as humans, we had wars with them. We battled them.
Yeah.
We enslaved most of them,
Yeah.
and we we had we had sex with their women
Yeah.
as humans, as Homo sapiens, and now we have Neanderthal blood in humans.
Hmm.
I think Joe Rogan says that he's like, there's a percentage, either 5 to 10% Neanderthal blood, and they can test it when they
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
23andMe. So you can still find their blood in
Right.
humans to this day. And so
Nuts.
we've I know, but then they did not. They were bigger than us too. The only
Yeah.
thing I
Yeah.
can
They were
think
bigger
of.
than us.
This is the
Their
thing.
brains were
This
their
is
brains were smaller too.
the brains were a little smaller. They were here before we were. So we were the
Mhm.
next kind of generation of humanoids, right? On the Homo, the sapien line. Homo. It's always start with Homo.
Mhm.
Um. Anyways, homos.
That's a
They're
plug
great.
for the gays. Yeah. Everything
Um,
starts with gay.
but so this is the theory of why humans, Homo sapiens, why our brains grew so big is that we cooked meat.
1000%.
So we developing a fire and the cooking of meat, because our jaws used to be similar to Neanderthals. And as we developed more brain power, we were able to, I mean, this is a theory, but the theory is we were able to surpass them because of our abilities to cook after millenniums of time. I mean, I'm talking like a couple hundred years of it. We're
Yeah.
cooking our food. Our jaws are smaller, gave rooms for our brain as well. In combination, our faces shifted in size. Our brains grew bigger. We become intelligent, way more intelligent. This is why we can control lions and chimpanzees